Hello, my name is Gus Nickerson, and today I'll be presenting to you all a summary of the species, composition, climate ecology, as well as management concerns of the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem located in northern Japan. So this ecosystem remains the largest untouched beech forest in Eastern Asia. The beech forest of Shirakami Sanchi is a climax forest marked as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. While other beech forests are co-dominant with Japanese oak, the Shirakami Sanchi forest is special in that it's monodominant in Fagus crenata, a species of beech endemic to Japan. The forest was recolonized and established by Fagus crenata after the most recent glacial stage, which was approximately 12,000 years ago. So this ecosystem is located along the Sea of Japan in northern Honshu at an altitude ranging from 100 to 1,243 meters above sea level. Historically, beech forests have mainly resided along the coastal region of Japan in cool, temperate ranges. The forests began to spread inwards and to higher elevations only about 12,000 to 7,000 years ago, just as that glacial period started to lift. Alright, now on to the main trees themselves. Fagus crenata reaches approximately 35 meters in height, has smooth gray bark, and possesses a rounded crown. The leaves are simple and alternate, and branches have nuts with whiskers as well. These nuts are dispersed through masting every year. The Japanese beech tree also has wind-pollinated flowers and grows well in loamy, sandy soils. Beech tree stands normally endure natural disturbances such as forest fires, landslides, and typhoons. The time it takes for a beech tree stand to recover from one of these large disturbances is about 100 to 200 years. However, regeneration for beech strands begins after both large and small scale disturbances. And this is all according to research collected by researchers Terazawa Yanayasuka as well as Nakashizuka. Within Shirakami Sanchi, there's approximately 500 recorded species of plants and 2,000 plus species of vertebrates. Specific species of note include the black woodpecker, Drycopis martius, Japanese sero, Capricornus crispus, and the Japanese black bear, Ursus thibetanus japonicus. These species require old-growth forests, which makes Shirakami Sanchi an ideal home range for them. Undergrowth is dominated by this dwarf bamboo known as Sassas currilensis, and here in this photo you can kind of see that these bushes are actually bundles of bamboo, and if you look a bit closer you may be able to make out the bamboo-like structure that we are so familiar with. Alright, so now on to some management concerns for the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem. So one of the concerns for this ecosystem is increases in ozone concentration and nitrogen deposition within the stands themselves. Researchers such as Watanabe and Yamaguchi found that O3 sensitivity of beech was higher, potentially from the increased nitrogen depositions. Additional studies by Watanabe determined the effects of ozone on beech, finding that ozone reduces photosynthetic activity of the trees. Another management concern is the Sika deer populations. So these Sika deer, which are endemic to Japan, have begun to skyrocket. Their populations are out of control. The Liaison Committee, a scientific committee in charge of conservation actions regarding Shirakami Sanchi ecosystems, is currently coming up with measures in order to manage Sika deer populations as well as preserve the ecosystem's balance. The largest management concern to the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem is climate change. So climate change obviously poses the most fundamental and serious threat to all beech tree forests in Japan, not only with reduced availability of nutrients, reduced physiological function, but also with increased disturbance and potential flooding of the largest stands located along the coasts. In recent years, Japan has taken the international lead in combating climate change, aiming for a net zero emissions goal for the country by 2030. This is according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan. However, unless the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions, namely the United States and China, as you can see here in this graph collected for the 2020 census, unless these countries join in this goal for their respective countries, the threat of irreparable damage to ecosystems will remain for smaller contributors such as Japan. So finally, I would like to leave you all off with some additional information about this ecosystem. Why did I choose the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem? What makes it so special? Why didn't I choose some other ecosystem around somewhere more popular, such as Mount Fuji? Why didn't I choose an ecosystem within the United States? What makes this ecosystem so different? Well, the biggest difference is that this forest has no access to trails or man-made facilities and high restrictions on tourism, development, and collection, including the hunting and fishing of any species from the forest, as well as a number of legal protections, of course, and equitable enforcement of those protections. Now, this is obviously fairly different from any of the forests we have here in the United States, where most forests you can enter and most forests have some sort of policies regarding collection, but you can collect in a lot of forests here in the United States, as opposed to this one, which is just completely sealed off and left in a preservation state. Although the majority of other beech forests in Japan are under threat by fragmentation due to human exploitation, Shirakami Sanchi is most likely the most protected forest in Japan, and thus has little to no fragmentation whatsoever. Almost no logging of beech trees has been carried out on the property as well, due to harsh environmental conditions and legal protections. This is a stark contrast with other beech tree forests in Japan, where heavy machinery logging has made it difficult for beech tree regeneration, giving rise in attempts being made to switch to other methods such as manual logging. On top of all of these protections, there is a government-funded scientific council known as the Liaison Committee, which I had mentioned earlier, that oversees the adaptive conservation management of the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem, basing their actions completely on current scientific knowledge. So that concludes my summary of the species, the composition, the climate ecology, and the management concerns of the Shirakami Sanchi beech tree ecosystem within northern Japan.